This is Politics as Usual. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Today and yesterday, the Senate looking into the impending or the aborted release of former Laguna or former Calauan Laguna Mayor Antonio Sanchez from the new Bilibid Prison. This after the controversy erupted over this good conduct time allowance law. The chairman of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee and the Justice and Human Rights Committee, Senator Richard Dick Gordon. Sir, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Pia.
Yeah. Well, sir, let's begin with this. Today you said to Nicanor Faildon, you take responsibility. It's called accountability. Yesterday you said the buck stops with you. Senator Ping Lacson said Faildon is lying yesterday. He's lying today. What do you think is really going on, Senator Gordon?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the last question.
Oh, okay. I was just repeating what you told Faildon today and what Senator Ping Lacson said also today. Like, for example, you said today that Faildon should take responsibility because it's called accountability. And you also said yesterday that the buck stops with you. Senator Ping Lacson said Faildon was lying today. Faildon is lying yesterday and he's lying today. What do you think, sir, is really going on?
Well, it's very simple. Faildon tried to have him released and then changed his mind when somebody found out that he had improperly released this guy, you know. And it happened, by that time, they had already released more than 2,000, not to mention the fact that his predecessor had also released a lot. The sad part about it is that the people never knew that this was going on. There's no transparency. There's no balance. There's nobody balancing this centralized power in one person who can release people. That's why they thought they could get away with it.
Senator Gordon, are you senators being taken for a ride? Because, you know, words are words, no? It's hindi daw release order. It's a memorandum, no? Ano to? Play on words?
It's a play on words.
May tawag sa ganyan eh, hindi po ba?
I really think that there was a release order. In fact, I think that I have information na nagpiano na yan, na siya ay nag-fingerprint na. So, in fact, rations, wala na siyang rations. Nakadamit na siya ng pandabas, civilian.
Yun po yung nakapantalon at naka-orange polo. There were pictures that were released eh.
I don't think that was the only time that he was in special clothes, but this time he was wearing leather shoes already. He was ready to go. His children said we came over to fetch him because we were told that he was going to be released already. At sinabi sa inyo na magkain tayo sa Japanese restaurant at magpapagamot siya ng mata. So it's very, very clear na talagang alam na nila preordained na yung pag-release na.
Okay. How could Mr. Faildon have given or signed this memorandum, they call it a memorandum, for Sanchez's release if there were three major violations? In 2006, the marijuana; 2010, 1.5 million pesos worth of shabu found in the image of Mama Mary; 2015, flat screen TV, air conditioner, refrigerator. Are you happy with the way this was explained? Because Faildon was saying he was a good prisoner. So ano po yun? Ano po yung tatlong nangyari?
If this is a model prisoner, then everybody is just going to have to lower their standard, di ba? Because hindi naman talaga dapat pawalan niyan because he's had a lot of infractions. This guy has had a lifetime of infractions. He rapes people, he murders people. When he's in jail, he doesn't wear the uniform. He has an air conditioner. He has 4 pillows in his bedroom. Isang wardrobe. And he's special. So all those alone, dapat tanggal na siya. Hindi na siya mabibigyan ng bad conduct discharge, ng good conduct discharge. But in reality, yung gumawa ng mga rules niya, talaga pinifavor nila makalabas ng mga ito. Bakit? If you don't follow the rules at that man, then 1 month lang ang coverage, hindi yung buong time niya sa preso or yung gravity ng ginagawa niya. So therefore, it is a flawed system that they've introduced, designed to allow people like that to be released. Because, besides, Faildon knew na itong taong ito, hininay na ng clemency ng presidente.
Right.
Ng Bureau of Pardons and Parole. That was just 6 months before. And now, they closed the door to him. He now goes to this wonderful thing called good conduct time allowance. doon sila papasok, and 11,000 of them had already passed.
Okay. So hindi po makalusot doon sa Board of Pardons and Parole, like you were saying, dito na lang tayo sa GCTA. Sir, kanina meron po kayong interesting na sinabi na, there seems to be a lack of transparency here. There are many other prisoners who are supposed to be released also, but we have no idea who they are. And top of mind for me, since we are talking about this Sarmenta Gomez case, is those 6 other men convicted for this case, along with Mayor Sanchez, did they also get their release paper signed? Would you know? Is this something that we should also look into?
Are you talking about Feldon or another case?
The Sarmenta Gomez case, kasabay kasi ni Mayor Sanchez, meron din pong na-convict na 6 pa na iba. So syempre ang tanong ng tao, kung si Mayor Sanchez may good conduct, itong mga kasama niyang na-convict sa kaso na ito, nakakuha din po ba ng release order?
Possibly. We have not found that out yet. Yung 3 nakakuha, pero yung iba patay na. No? May patay na dyan. No? But the point is, hindi lang si Feldon, di ba dapat a normal man of sane mind dapat makikita niya na itong tao ito very, very stupendously bad yung ginawa nitong tao ito. Second, yung pinarelease nilang iba, pinigay nila sa Bureau of Immigration. These are Chinese drug pushers. Even that should have given him the signal na hindi papayagan kahit ang presidente ang mga yan. Pero ang lakas ng loob niya so, it still allowed them to be transferred to the BI for release. Binigyan na lang good conduct discharge. To my mind, merong racket ito. There's got to be consideration for all these releases. Now, there are 11,000 of them. Can you imagine, sabi nga ni Senator Soto, kung magbigay lang ng 10,000 yan, 110 million na yan. Kung mga drug pushers yan, kung katulad ni Sanchez ang bibigay, talagang magbibigay para makalaya. So that's why we're investigating this. We know pinalaya na. We know there was no basis for the release. And now we're looking at who paid and whatnot.
So let's talk about Sal Panelo, the president's spokesperson. He's saying that he did not recommend executive clemency for Sanchez, but only referred the letter. Again, words na hindi ko ni-recommend, ni-refer ko lang. How are we supposed to understand what happened?
Well, there are about several other people, including the former First Lady, including a lot of other people who recommended, even the former Justice of the Supreme Court recommended, mayors and vice mayors association. That's part of the course. Our culture is like that. But in the case of Sal Panelo, he didn't ask, in fairness to him, he did not ask, please release him. He did not even say anything to change that. At sabi ni, ang lumalabas yan, si Sal Panelo wrote a letter endorsing the request. Ang masama siya is that he was the former counsel. Lawyer siya. And he was using Malacanang stationery. That is where I think the conduct became inappropriate. And that's what raised the hackles of many people.
Yeah. So he could have, refused to refer the letter, ganun po ba? Given that he was counsel for Sanchez.
I'm sorry, to my mind, that was poor judgment on his part. But then, once in a while, when you're bamboozled by so many papers, and you have this cultural imperative na they were your former clients, umiiyak sa'yo, nagpunta pa rin sa Malacanang, that's what I heard last. Sumulat na lang siya. Sabi niya, walang masama dyan, i-endorse ko lang naman. Wala naman ako hinihingi.
Sir,
what is wrong is that he was the former counsel.
Senator Gordon, a few days ago, Senator Bongo was saying that, mabuti pa, Mayor Sanchez, dyan ka na lang sa loob, baka umikli pa ang buhay mo pag nasa labas ka. And yet, you were saying, bakit kaya malakas ang loob ni Canor Feldon? You have a president who is very strong on the war on drugs, galit sa kriminal, galit sa mga, convicts, no? So, so paano, how are we supposed to understand this? What is, again, my question, what is going on?
The only one that's perplexed. I'm perplexed, quite frankly. You know me, I'm a law and order mayor, I'm a hard pass mayor. I would have kicked him out right away. He would have been fired. But unfortunately, We got him in customs. Look, this guy, Captain Faldon, conducted the coup d'etat when he was still in the military. He took an oath as a Marine Corps. And then he did not follow they were all arrested. He escaped. Pag-escape niya, nahuli siya, bumalik siya, maswerte siya, napawala rin siya ultimately, pero kinuha siya, nangampanya siya para kay Presidente, and then he was appointed as Customs Commissioner, something that really raised my eyebrows. I'm very, very frank. And then there was this big deal, 6.4 million pesos worth of 6.4 billion pesos worth of shabu. That was really botched, no? Nakakahuli lang sila isang container, pero yung iba umalis na, yung isang cylinder, no? So he was moved again, and the Tala system came out of there. They had the wars with King Lacson, and then he was brought to the civil defense. And now he is now in the Bureau of Prisons, and now you have another controversy starting Fayangor. How long can the people tolerate a guy like this?
So mahilig pala ang...
How long can the president allow this guy, no matter he owes political capital, if he owes political obligations here, shouldn't he now consider removing this guy?
Mahilig pala ang controversy kay Nicanor Faldon. One last question, sir. If at the end of this saga, for lack of a better word, and Mr. Faldon is removed from his post or he resigns, and if he is appointed elsewhere, what are you going to think? I will cross If
the
naman ako.
But the saga of Captain Faldon doesn't end there. We're just beginning to overhaul this a wicked system that they have introduced called the GCTA, and we're going to try and amend it. We're going to set aside the IRR because this is what caused the whole problem. And we're going to make sure that there are checks and balances. We're going to make sure that it is transparent. And I plead with the President, sir, tignan nyo muna yung mga ginagawa ng mga tao yan because kahit na sabihin nyo, tama yung ginagawa, totoo yung ginagawa, ang perception ng tao mas malupit sapagkat ayaw na nilang maniwala dahil itong tao ito maraming pinalaya na hindi nila namalayan. Especially the victims. The victims are the ones that are really hurt here. And of course, it really hurts the confidence on the judiciary. The judiciary does everything to, sabi nga, you try to use a lot of money to catch the crooks, then paparelease lang nitong isang taong ito. Then what the hell are we talking about here? Justice or miscarriage of justice?
Senator Dick Gordon, sir, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Taking another quick break, Paul, as usual. We'll be right back. Senator Amy Marcos still here in the studio with us. Be right back. Welcome back to Pulse as usual. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Still with us here in the studio, Senator Amy Marcos. Well, your mother had sent a letter on behalf...
Lumitaw yung...
Teka muna, wait, hindi pa ako tapos.
Okay.
Ay, hindi. Actually, that's better. Sige,
Hindi, lumitaw
sagutin mo
nga
na.
yung pangalan ng nanay ko kasama ng iba pang mga politicians, including Justice Art Brion, kung sino-sino pang nandyan. So, eto nga, pangkaraniwan naman sa mga politiko na talagang may lumapit,
pinagbibigyan,
tutulungan,
Okay.
makatapos picture taking, sangkatutak na picture. Pero ang totoo, sa palagay ko, talagang ang mahirap dyan, itong kaguluhan nga. With the procedure, the vagueness of the law, which may or may not exclude heinous crimes. Now, the thought of all these criminals who've been convicted being released into society and fraternizing among our families, totally repulsive. Huwag naman sana mangyaring ganun.
Okay, so you would like an amendment of the law, a change in the IRR, for example.
Yeah, sa palagay ko, kung i-challenge yan sa Supreme Court, magiging kon yan magiging unconstitutional yan. Kasi labo-labo. Ano ibig sabihin ng good conduct? Dapat talaga paliwanagan natin yung good conduct mo yan. Naglalagay ng shabu sa loob ng
Mama Mary statue.
Mama Mary, tama ba yun? Pakatapos kung ano-ano pang allegations.
Pero yung isang violation na yon and two others that I had mentioned earlier kay Senator
that's
Gordon,
right.
nung tinanong kay Nicanor Governor Faldon yun parang hindi malinaw kasi yung sagot niya kung paano nga
Kasi
naging
nga,
good conduct kung
nakaka-magic
meron
naman
mga
kasi. Naglabas sila ng record within the prison. At yung record, wala doon yung 3 incidents na binahagi mo. Bihira naman. Nabubura kasi sa record Maraming magic. Maraming magican. Kaya nga, binibintang nga namin si Senator Bato. Sabi na, paano ba ginagawa yun nung nandyan ka?
Pero sinabi naman ni Senator Bato na, hindi, 120 lang yung pinirmahan.
Yun na nga,
doon.
that's right. Nakakapagtaka nga kasi biglaan under Yusek Faldon, biglang 800 na yata ang na-release within the same period almost the Senator Bato. But it's been a really eventful day. Napagod ako today. Sa totoo lang, batong-bato kami. Nagsisigawan kanina sa agriculture.
Okay.
Medyo nakaka-high blood yung committee din na yun dahil...
Yeah, what was going on there?
Well, basically, we're talking about the crashing prices of rice. Bagsak na bagsak ang presyo ng palay, hindi lamang dahil na baha yung Ilocos Norte. Before that pa, talagang nasa 8 piso na yung palay. At wala pang bumibili sa baba ng presyo, nakakahimatay. So, eto nga, sinisisi si Senator Villar, pero para sa akin, hindi naman niya kasalanan. Talagang... uncompetitive na masyado yung ating agrikultura. So kawawa yung farmer. Ang problema dyan, kawawa rin tayo. Sa bandang huli, wala nang magtatanim. Import na lang tayo ng import. Hindi naman tayo sigurado na meron tayong pang-import na pera. Mahirap yung ganun Yung food security has become a farce na talaga.
In a few days' time, less than a week, it's going to be your father's birth anniversary.
Oh, yes, that's right. 9/11 of all days.
September 11.
And we're not in too much of a mood to celebrate given that back-to-back ang mga bagyo at baha in Ilocos Norte. So perhaps we'll probably be helping with relief. There'll be free dialysis and other medical services. Tipong ganun na lang. It's a whole week actually of birthdays Andyan pa yung anak ko, September 5, the second one, the abogado.
Si Mike.
Michael. And then Bongbong, 13. And then Irene, 16. So sunod-sunod, pancit and cake for a week and a half.
September is a very
It's a big
month
for all of us.
For the Marcoses.
Masaya naman.
Yeah, including the martial law anniversary. But let's talk about that in a bit. But wait, about your father, no? If he were alive today, what would he say about the Duterte presidency and the Duterte administration?
Well, sa palagay ko, matutuwa siya. Unang-una, abogado. Matutuwa yun. At kilala niya yung ama His father was a member of my dad's cabinet, so I think he'd be delighted. The entire Almendras Duterte clan was very close to him, and Duranos as well. So, okay naman. At yung political will, kakaiba yun. We haven't seen that in a while. So, that's very important also. Pero sa palagay ko, it's very hard to compare at this point.
Yeah.
I've been in the Senate for a little over 2 months now. Naninibago pa. I'm still finding my balance.
Well, speaking of compare, syempre, people are also comparing you to your brother because he was senator.
Yes, my brother
before
was
you for like
senator.
one or two terms.
That's correct. Yeah, for 6 years exactly. And then he ran in 2016. He ran then for vice president. So I think in the Senate today, if you look around, talagang ramdam na ramdam yung 2022. Andyan Kami midterm So safe na kami, okay lang, chill na chill, at nangangapa pa rin. Pero there are many who are clearly slated for a higher office.
Yeah, and well, many others who have to run for re-election. Pero yung ramdam na ramdam, naisip ko, ramdam na ramdam din ng mga Marcos sa administration na ito, no? Parang you're very back. You are so back, in a way. But anyway, wait,
sa Senate, tapos yung my son is governor now. He took over. So siya yung katiwala ng relief ngayon. Medyo ang sama ng weather talaga. Itong climate change, hindi na biro-biro.
It's a little bit hard to, since you were governor of Ilocos Norte for 2-3 terms, it's a little bit hard to get to parang separate yourself.
Ang hirap parang stage mother. You're like hovering.
So
Hindi naman,
you are admitting that now.
No naman, I'm not. I refuse, But my son does call for advice, and sometimes I text him back. But I'm so busy myself finding my land legs in the Senate. First of all, I ended up with a funny office. Dahil
that used to be
nabunod ko yung kay Senator Trillanes. So yung mga tao, kamang-kaba para sa akin. Sabi, baka kung anong mangyari sa'yo. Hindi, pero...
Nangyari na ba sa'yo doon?
Sa awa ng Diyos, pinagdadasal naman namin. At maganda naman, and naninibago kami lahat. I'm getting used to the traffic of Manila or not, as the case may be. And
Yeah, it took you 2 hours to get here.
nga, tagal-tagal. And then, of course, we have lots of work dahil yung chairman pala sa Senate, talagang sangkalan ng lahat ng trabaho. Babagsak pala sa'yo dahil sa mga hearing, mag-isa ka pala. Yeah, you conduct the hearings almost alone very frequently dahil iilan lang kayo. I was used to the House where there's so many of us all the time. And of course, as governor, you're a big fish in a little bowl, so you call everyone to come over. It takes a little getting used to, and also from small, local scale, biglang level up to national policy.
So the learning curve has been...
A little bit of a learning curve, but I spent more time, if truth be told, in Congress than as governor. So, okay lang. At natatawa ako kasi yung mga tinype ko nung bata ako ng mga presidential decree, biglang nauungkat.
Which presidential decree did you type?
Well, so many. So many.
Why were you the one typing?
Yung tatay ko worked all the time and wala pang computer noon. Kung sino mahagilap, yun ang gagawa. And of course, extra allowance yun
Oh, how much did he pay you?
I know, very miserable. Piso-piso talaga. Ilocano rates, syempre. But it was fun and I'm unduly familiar with many, many things. Yung probation law nga comes into mind kaagad dahil itong GCTA, medyo malabo nga, whereas the probation law is so clear-cut. And that's the distinction, I suppose.
Okay. Kanina nabanggit mo, when we
Kanina
mentioned your
may
brother.
rally pala.
Yeah.
May rally pa sa amin kanina
Okay.
May mga anti-soji at saka
Teka, babalik tayo dun sa Soji. Wait, but I wanted to ask first about your brother.
2 months.
Oh, wait. You're trying to, teka muna, about your brother. Kasi nabanggit mo kanina, ramdam na ramdam yung 2022 sa Senado. Of course, he's not there. But then, of course, everybody's thinking in terms of 2022, parang what will the Marcos family do? What is Bongbong going to run for? Is he going to run for president, for VP?
Well, we're not thinking very far, if
Yeah.
truth be told, because until now, midterm na, si Bongbong hindi pa nakakaupo.
2 years and 10 months to go, and yung hindi pa natatapos yung electoral protest.
Hindi pa nga Tsaka meron pang ilang causes of action. May second cause of action, third cause. So we have a long way to go. We're not thinking 2020 unlike many others.
But your language was interesting. You said hindi pa rin nakakaupo. It sounds like you're so positive that he will be able to sit as vice president.
Well, hindi naman namin ipaglalaban yan kung hindi sigurado si Bongbong. So Bongbong's very, very certain. Kami, we also are convinced. Kaya lang, talagang sabi nga, may nananalo, may nadadaya. Walang pumapayag na natalo Yun talagang problema sa atin. I'm ironically the chairman of the Electoral Reform Committee now.
And that's also one reason why you don't want Smartmatic anymore.
Yeah, and some people questioned actually bakit ako naging chairman. Sabi naman ng iba, mas committed yan kasi may hugot. So, tignan natin. But definitely, we're all for some new form of hybrid election.
Hybrid na. Okay.
Kung paano sana yun.
So
That's the
hybrid will be
question.
what?
Hybrid,
At the precinct level?
At the
what are we
precinct
looking at?
level, the Senate President wants manual yung sulatan. Most of us
okay,
don't
wala
want.
ng shading.
Ayaw namin nun Kasi syempre gusto natin shading, pero sabi niya, wag. Pero yung gusto natin, yung system na naman, na nagsusulat yung mga teacher.
Counting, tara.
Yung tara system sa blackboard. Para nakikita ng lahat. Kasi nakaka-nervous, yung susubo mo lang sa machine, yung machine ang magbibilang. Di mo
Pero, when we have that kind of counting,
Takes
minsan
forever.
it takes forever. At nagkakaproblema, how many times have we seen electoral returns, ERs, we've seen COCs, SOVs na dinadaya, may plus 10,000.
Hindi nagtatali. So yun nga. Yung,
There was one in Marikina, I remember, 1995 elections, 5 plus 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then dalawa.
then another.
Dapat 7.
Oo, syempre.
Ang total 52.
Aray ko, ano ba yan? Yun nga, syempre nagkakamali. Wala naman foolproof. Walang foolproof na sistema. But we're going to try and figure out a way. Ang idea ko, syempre shading pa rin. Ang hirap ng
Okay,
sulat
shading,
kamay.
and then ang
Tapos,
counting is?
Yung counting, dalawang proseso. May counting na tara system ng teacher.
Plus
para
the
makikita.
machine.
At the same time,
Okay,
yung
so there's
machine.
a counterbalance.
In the event of a conflict between the manual and the sinubo, syempre, yung nakita na tara, yun ang overwhelming. Tapos pwede naman mag-CCTV din, di ba? I-video na rin yun para klaro.
Okay, nabanggit mo na rin ang Soji bill kanina, so I wanted to ask about that. Well, as an aside, the Supreme Court throughout this petition for same-sex marriage. There are many
Given naman yun.
misconceptions.
Given naman
Kasi
yun.
wala pa siyang, there's no actionable.
Walang actionable cause, walang injured party, and labo-labo pa ng kasong yun. So talagang dapat hindi nga umabot.
And they said na bahala na muna ang Kongreso nito. So
Oo,
that's
yeah.
why it's a good time to talk about the SOGI bill in the Senate and the House.
Well, masyado yata na-color yung issue sa banyo. Nauwi sa banyo.
Okay.
Para sa akin, design issue yun. We all do our business in private. Let's figure out a way. But yung importante, yung anti-discrimination so that those who are LGBTQ, napakarami na plus, are given the equal opportunity for education, for jobs, and so on. Hindi naman lahat showbiz na yung mga sikat na naririnig natin. Marami pa rin talaga na nahihirapan.
Yeah, are there many misconceptions about this bill? There seems
Yes,
to
I
be
think so. I think there's a lot of
misunderstanding.
fear as well and paranoia. So I wish we'd all calm down and realize that, you know, gay rights are human rights. We treat each other humanely, compassionately. And perhaps it's the Pope that we should remember. Who am I to judge? Sabi ng Santo Papa. Eh dapat ganun din tayo. A touch of humility na wag naman tayo hahatol kagad at pagbigyan ng lahat.
Okay. What other matters are you attending to at the Senate? Like you were saying, it's an interesting learning curve. There's a lot you're learning.
Ang
What
totoo,
else
wala
do you
akong...
need to see?
Kasi ang nangyari, palibasa plebo, ika nga, maniyang fight eh. I'm a neophyte senator, so I felt na you can't assert naman. Kung ano ibigay na committee sa'yo, bahala na. Tiisin mo. Eh, yun nga, yun ang nangyari. Naglista ako ng mga preferred committees. I didn't get a single one of the 5 I wrote down. Pero okay na rin, in the sense that economic affairs is the other committee that I got. I don't know much about economic affairs at all. Pero interesting din dahil naging macroeconomic ang viewpoint. We have a very good record in poverty alleviation in Ilocos Norte. So one of the things that I'd like to bring forward is yung economic development plans natin. Kung talagang poverty reduction pa rin. Because in many cases, nakikita natin we're building bridges and roads and transport, all of which we need. Walang doubt naman yun. Pero baka nakakalimutan natin yung mga poverty alleviation programs. And that's not just for peace. That includes help for farmers because 60% of the poor really live in the countryside, and that needs a big focus and investment in Mindanao, where 40% of the poor are located.
Senator Marcos, I just wanted to say thank you to you. And
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching Politics as Usual. I'm Pio Antiveros.